We Georgians had to fight for centuries to protect our faith and religion, Christianity. Our history has taught us that any occupation of a country is temporary if the conqueror fails to destroy the identity of the people. Therefore, all conquerors had as their first task an attack on the religion of the Georgian people. Last of all, this was attempted by the Soviet Bolsheviks, who destroyed churches and forbade believers to pray. However, Georgia won all battles, fought for faith, and was able to protect and preserve Christianity. Current challenges of our country are similar to those that Georgia faced for centuries. The most interesting thing is that they are faced by the whole world today, which pose risks to both the smallest and the largest countries and nations. The so-called liberals are presently putting at risk the identity of countries and nations around the world. Europe and the United States face such risks most of all, where the so-called liberal ideology has the most widespread roots. Uncontrolled migration poses the greatest threat to the national identity of European countries. If the processes continue at the current pace, the local population in many European countries will very soon be a minority. The so-called liberals fight against Christianity with particular enthusiasm. The only difference between the so-called liberals and the Bolsheviks is that the latter used sledgehammer as their main weapon in the fight against religion, while the liberals fight against Christianity with propaganda, which, under the conditions of total control of the media, has much stronger power than the sledgehammer. Today, the Georgian Orthodox Church is a prime target of their attack in Georgia. A couple of days ago, the Georgian so-called liberals even tried to change the concept of national identity of Georgia and replace the words homeland, language, religion with the words homeland, language, and unity. They just removed the religion from the identity trinity of our nation. According to the concept of so-called liberals, not only the country and the nation, even an individual should not have any solid identity. There should not be any moral limits in a person's personal life. This propaganda has disturbing consequences in both Europe and the United States, as sociological studies surveys confirm. About 20% of the 18 to 25-year-old population declares itself as LGBT, both in the United States and the majority of the European countries nowadays. This indicator is 3 times less among people aged between 26 and 32, which means that propaganda has tripled the number of LGBTI people in just 7 years. According to the position of so-called liberals, a person should not have a fixed gender identity and should choose his or her own gender at any stage of life. Even a child should have the right to choose and change gender. For the so-called liberals, it is unacceptable to use terms like woman and man or mother and father. A few decades ago, no one could have imagined that we would have to seriously discuss such issues in the civilized world. However, the fact is that today, not only serious discussions are held on these topics, but everyone who expresses the opposite position becomes an object of intimidation, just as the Bolsheviks intimidated intellectuals and clergy in the past. In general, the so-called liberals who use freedom as a cover-up are the most intolerant of human rights, especially freedom of speech and expression. In fact, for a so-called liberal, such values as freedom and tolerance are completely unfamiliar. This approach extends to the liberalization campaign on drug policy. The promotion of drugs aims to strip individuals of their critical thinking and values, reducing them to mere subjects devoid of moral compass. The so-called liberals also fight against such an important pillar of the country's identity as state sovereignty. If the processes went in a direction in which they are still going, state sovereignty will soon be even formally declared to be the same unacceptable value as the national and religious identity of the country is declared nowadays. Georgia has successfully managed to protect both its national and religious identity and traditional values. However, we also face the most difficult challenges. The so-called liberals are actively trying to spread their ideology in Georgian society and undermine the foundations of the state and society. In response to these challenges, we in the Parliament of Georgia initiated a draft of constitutional amendments aimed at protecting family values and the interests of minors. The draft law prohibits the legalization of same-sex civil partnership, the adoption of a minor by a same-sex or polygamous couple, changing a person's sex, entering any other gender than male and female in the identity document, as well as popularization of the same-sex, family or intimate relationships, incest, adoption of a child by a same-sex couple, and promotion of gender reassignment. We hold great hope that the aforementioned legislative changes will successfully oppose the so-called liberal ideology and make a significant contribution to the protection of family values and minors.